Welcome everyone, welcome to the wonderful Glen Erin at Lansfield. Hope you all enjoyed lunch and you're ready for a semi-large afternoon. So the way today we're just going to go through a few ground rules, expectations, that kind of stuff, and then we're going to go straight into a bit of a planning session where we're going to deep dive your task lists. So the way we're going to work through most of these sessions, we'll do a bit of a presentation, but then most of the sessions will have something practical for you to do. You can follow along here or at home over on Zoom. If you've got your workbooks printed out, pretty much everything that you're going to need to do or record there'll be a spot for that in the workbook, and then you've just got some blank sheets as well.
When the projector shines on you, the light.
Firstly, I guess we'd just like to welcome everyone who's managed to make it out here. People have flown in from all sorts of places, and we're sorry about the weather for those of you that have come from warmer climates. Hopefully we'll get some sun tomorrow. I think it's meant to clear up a bit, but hopefully everyone's checked in. If you haven't checked in, as we said, you'll get your keys and stuff later, so you can go and find some quiet time in your rooms. Anything from you to kick off, Paul?
No, just that I'm very grateful to have all of you guys with us. You know, it's been an interesting year building it to this point, and some of you have been here from day one. So thank you for sticking with us and for your patience. So yeah, really grateful, especially for you for helping along this journey, and Rod and Emma and yourself, Andy and everybody else. So hope you all have an amazing day. And like we said as well, if we're talking about stuff, then you get bored and you feel free, you want to go for a walk, feel free. No one's stuck here. Come and go as you please. So I'm looking at you, Chris Haynes. So yeah, what about you, Andy?
Yeah, for me, new to the community, it seems to be an incredible community with an incredible opportunity. And my heart has always been for business owners. And they often are the last ones in the line to be paid. And so working with people to get their fair share is what really turns me on. And that's why I'm really happy to be here. You'll find that I'm a little bit quirky, say some things that probably not appropriate. But actually working with you to maximise your value, that's what really makes me bring my best value. So thank you, Paul, for inviting me to be part of the group.
So it's an honour to have you with us, mate.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, when we kind of kicked this whole thing off and started planning this thing, we'll do a retreat. Why not? Everyone else does a retreat. We'll throw a retreat in there. You'd be surprised to know that we had really fuck all idea of what we were going to do for the retreat, but
We can tell.
but yeah, I think it's worked out really well. We're excited to run these few days and hopefully bring some value and help you guys get some actual very, very tangible, practical stuff that you can take out of here. Not just kind of listen to us rattle on for 3 days or 2 days.
Most of you rattling.
Just mostly me rattling. But actually take away something that we can go, right, we've got some actions, we're going to get some shit done in our businesses over the next few months so that we can all see you growing, paying yourselves, starting to live the dream inside your business a bit more. So that's the ultimate aim of these sessions, is to give you practical stuff to take home, and that we can actually work together as a team and bring our team together to help you build over the next few months. So while Andy's getting mic'd up, so personally for me, and I know from all of our team, I'm thankful. Without Paul, none of us would be here. So just at the top, I'd like to acknowledge Paul for bringing our team together, which in turn allows us to support you and your team. So without this guy, none of us would be here. So I'm personally very thankful for that. And yeah, I want to hopefully make this event as good as it can so that we can all continue in this journey together. So let's get into some content. So first point, we're just going to cover off a few basic expectations. As Paul said, these sessions have been put together for you. So ideally, we'd love you to be involved in all of the sessions so that you can get the most out of your time here. But we understand that you're all adults. If you need to go take a leak, if you need to go sort out a kid that's being chaotic, whatever you need to do, or you just need a break, go for a walk, You don't need to raise your hand, just leave. So yeah, you don't feel like you need to be here, but obviously we'd love to have you here so that you can get the most out of these sessions. We'd love for you also to play full out. Obviously, the more you contribute, the more involved you are, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of these sessions. Be willing to be open and share. We will we'd love to get you involved and actually talk through some of your businesses, and as we're going through things, sort of case study these things and make them applicable to your businesses. So as open as you're willing to be about your businesses and where you're at, you all kind of know each other a little bit from online, and you know that we're a very sharing community. This is a safe space for everybody. So obviously what gets said in this room stays in this room and on the internet forever. You've all got a workbook, you've all got a pen. Write as copious amounts of notes as you can. Format for the workbook, you will see that you'll have some sessions, you'll have some little things like this that we'll get into in a second to actually fill out specific things. Otherwise, you'll have some blank pages. But most importantly, at the end of every section, you'll have this little page where at the end of each session, once you've kind of gone through and got all of your notes, we'll spend a couple of minutes, or you can do this after the sessions, just to write down kind of your biggest takeaways, some of the things that you can take out of these sessions, and then any actions that you can take on those things now, just so as you're going through and you're getting the thoughts down, that you're getting everything down on paper. So there's one of those at the end of each section in your workbooks, and plenty of space in there. There's also extra notepads on your table if you need to write extra notes. We will also play out and make this as fun and educational and entertaining as possible. Again, we realise that you've taken time out of your lives to get down here, so we'll hopefully make this a fun event as well as a very educational and valuable event, not just for you as a business owner, but for you as a human person as well. Hopefully you all sort of understand that we're very much about business in this community. We want you to have amazing businesses, but we don't want you to build businesses at the detriment of your life, right? We want you to be fit and healthy and have amazing relationships and have amazing kids and have the time to spend with the stuff you like to do outside of work as well. So having that balance is very important for us as a community. Last point. We are here to make this the best event that you've ever attended. Hopefully it'll rank at least in the top 3. And as I said, our goal for you is to actually walk out of here with practical steps to grow your business over the next 30, 60, 90 days. So with that said, let's get into session 1, which we have called Your Zone of Genius. So what is your zone of genius? Good question. Ultimately, the point of this session is to help you work smarter and do more of what you love. So if you flip over to here, so what is your zone of genius? The zone of genius, so essentially, if you might know the Ikigai model. Some of you may not. It looks something like this. It's like a 4-step Venn diagram. I've just adapted that for your businesses. So it's really your zone of genius for you as the business owner is this kind of really interesting intersection of doing something that you're actually good at. So you're skillful at it, you're great at doing a thing. You actually enjoy doing the thing, right? So you're doing something that you love, something that you're good at, but then it's also got to be something that's beneficial to the business, right? So it's got to be something that the business needs. In the Ikigai model, which is basically a Japanese model for living a life on purpose, that third part there about doing what the business needs, that's referenced as doing what the world needs. So that's just an adaptation we've made here because that's a massively important part, that it's really nice to do stuff that we're good at and stuff that we enjoy doing. But if the business doesn't need it, we can get caught up in that stuff as entrepreneurs, right? And so, well, I don't want to do that thing, so I'll just do the thing that I like to do. I know it's one of your massive bugbears of people And we can all do it as entrepreneurs and procrastinate by doing stuff we'd rather do than stuff that we need to do. So this is part of this balance, right? If we can do things that we're good at, so we're comfortable and confident at doing the thing, we like doing it, so we get joy and pleasure from it, the business actually needs it, and the final piece is that it's actually valuable. So when we're talking about valuable here, I will go into this in a little bit. You as the business owner ultimately should be doing the most valuable tasks in your business, right? So if you think on a spectrum of a $10 task that a trained monkey could do versus a $1,000 task that you as the CEO should be doing, a lot of us do the $10 tasks and the $5 task. We make the coffee and we do the thing. And those lower end tasks are generally better if we can get someone else to do them for us, right? If it's a $10 task, we can pay someone to do that rather than spending our $1,000 an hour mind on those menial things. So that's where we're going to map out during this session. So we'll use this Zone of Genius map, and this is going to help us to identify your ideal role in your business. And that's that combination of being fully engaged, actually feeling useful to your business, having passion, and actually thriving in the work that you're doing whilst having impact in your business. So that's a really nice place to get into. And I'll cover in a second what kind of imbalance looks like, because a lot of us will be familiar with kind of what imbalance when not having these four sectors working together feels like. Once we've mapped this stuff out, we're going to be able to find the gaps between where you're at today and kind of that ideal model. So this Zone of Genius is going to create that perfect future situation for you as the business owner that you'd love to be doing. And it might be pretty glaringly obvious what today looks like and what that gap is. So that gap is the thing that we're going to work on closing over the next couple of days. So this is the Zone of Genius model, which I've copied from whoever created the Ikigai model. So internet, I'm sorry. But yeah, credit to the Japanese, I guess. So here's our four quadrants, or four sections. So as I said, the Zone of Genius is this. I'm going to step out of here, see if I can do this. So this lovely spot in the middle here is this perfect balance of doing something that you're great at. So this is where you're kind of in your zone of skills, talents, abilities, your superpowers. So this is doing the thing that you're great at, being an electrician, plugging stuff together, doing Facebook ads, right? It's doing the thing that you love to do, that you're good at. The second part is doing something that you actually enjoy, right? So not only are you good at the thing, you actually enjoy doing it as well. So you get energy, you get energized by doing it, and you actually feel fulfillment when you do those sorts of tasks. But then the business also needs some stuff too, right? So it's even better when the business actually needs those things as well. So when I say things, we're thinking about tasks and the work that we do in the business, right? So it's nice to be good at doing something and it's nice to enjoy it, but if the business doesn't need it, it's kind of a task that probably doesn't need to get done. So the business also needs to need it because, as I said here, it can't all be fun, right? We're business owners, we've got responsibilities. There's always going to be stuff that we don't like to do that we're just going to have to do. And the fourth part is the value component, as I was talking about earlier. Ultimately, where's your time best invested in your business? If you think of every hour that you have to work in your business and you put an hourly rate against that, where would that hour be best invested in your business? Probably not on doing admin tasks, probably better on setting vision, on setting mission, on hiring, on building team, on building culture, on product sourcing, on finances, aspects like, which Andy will go a bit deeper into the aspects of finance where the real heavy levers in your business, right? The things that you should be doing are the things that the levers you can pull on that are going to have the biggest impact in your business. So does that make sense to everyone?
Yep.
Is anyone familiar with the Ikigai model? Fantastic. So I invented this, by the way.
It used to be Japanese. Well done.
In Japan.
Those 4 years I spent in Japan, I tell you.
There you go.
So, some of you may be kind of familiar with when these things are imbalanced, right? And as business owners, I'm sure we've all felt this. So this is why it's really important for us to task ourselves as business owners to, as much as possible, kind of find this zone of genius that we can operate in. And of course, this is a process, as I said, where we are today and this ideal us working in our business, there's some time involved, there's some stuff that needs to happen between those two things, right? But setting it up and having it as a vision is going to be very powerful for us. So if we don't know where we're going, any path's as good as any, right? We want to make sure that the path we're walking is taking us to our vision for ourselves and our business. So when these 4 things are not balanced, we end up in these interesting little sections in between where one of the components is missing. So starting up the top, where we've got enjoyment, we're great at the thing, and the business needs it, but it's not a valuable use of our time, right? So we have this feeling where it's delightful, we enjoy it, it's fun, there's some business impact, but we're doing all the low value tasks, right? So our times, we're doing the admin stuff, we're doing our own bookkeeping, we're running our own Facebook ads, right? We're doing things that someone else could be doing for us. So our value contribution to the business isn't as high as it could be. Coming around to the right here, where we've got in here. So we enjoy what we're doing, the business needs it, and it's valuable, but we suck at it. Accounting, bookkeeping, finances. Andy's world, right? For a lot of us, that kind of thing, right? There's a feeling there where it's kind of excitement, right? You're excited because you enjoy it. You feel like the business is, you're contributing to the business, stuff's getting done. But there's this real internal feeling of like uncertainty, and you're being actually quite ineffective, because if you're not good at the thing, someone else could be doing that thing at 100% where you're doing it at 10, 20% because you're just not good at it, right? And this is probably a place where a lot of us end up, because we've got to do stuff the business needs. We'd rather do something we enjoy that brings value to the business, but if we're not great at it, there's this kind of internal unrest because we're not confident in the thing that we're doing. So that can be a funny place to be in. Coming down the bottom here, where we're basically lacking enjoyment, right? So we're good at the thing, the business needs it, it's a valuable use of our time, but we don't enjoy the task. Again, this is the stuff, there's a lot of stuff in business that can feel like this, right? Actually, it's pretty effective, but there can be this feeling of sort of emptiness and lacking pleasure, which is not a long-term strategy as a business owner, right? If you're working every day in that section and the business is kind of growing, but you're hating life because you're doing stuff that you just don't enjoy, that's a pretty terrible place to be in as a business owner. And yes, you can do that short term, and as business grows and goes through seasons, there's times that you'll be in that section, you'll be in that area, but it's not a great long-term strategy. And then our final section here, where we're in balance, where we're good at the thing, we enjoy doing it, it's valuable to the business, or it's a valuable use of our time, but the business doesn't actually need it. Is basically we're satisfied, we're liking it, we enjoy it, but the business impact isn't there because we're doing stuff that the business doesn't really need to grow. So now a lot of business owners, we spend a lot of time in that section as well, this really comes out of lack of clarity by not knowing what the business needs. So we're kind of guessing what the business needs and go, well, I feel like doing this today and I'm good at it, so I'll do that thing. But if the business doesn't actually need that, that's where you spin the wheels for years and years and years. So that's a big part of what we want to get out of these sessions today and over today and tomorrow, is to actually give you that clarity so you know what the business needs. You know the stuff that you enjoy doing in your business. You know the stuff you're actually good at doing, and you know where every hour of your time is best invested into your business. And that's ultimately the balance that we want to get from bringing all these things together. So, on your sheets, our first little bit of work, we're going to brainstorm a bit around this zone of genius chart. So those of you online, those of you that are here, open up to this page. And we're going to do a bit of a task dump and start to think about some of the things that might fit into some of these sections. So what are the things that you're good at? And for reference, a lot of you that have done the brand strategy, we covered a little bit of this stuff in the sort of first section, in your why section. So what's the stuff that you're good at? What are your skills? What are your talents? Maybe you're amazing at doing finances. Maybe you're great at product sourcing. Maybe you love web design. Maybe you're really great at running paid ads. Maybe you're amazing at social media and filming videos. So we'll start with number one here. What are you great at? What are your skills? What are your superpowers? And we'll spend a few minutes on each of these sections, and then we'll move on to doing a bit of a deeper task dive. Everyone got a good list of stuff down? Starting to get an idea of
How'd you go?
maybe how effective or potentially ineffective you are in different areas of the business? Very ineffective. I knew it. I knew this. I've made this for you, Chris Haynes. So let's go around the room a little bit. And we've got some questions. So the team on Zoom, hi to Zoom people. You've been doing the work as well. So we'll check in. Let's check in with Zoom first. And then anyone else who'd like to share, just get maybe a couple of you can put your hands up and we'll
Do we want to go in
get
order,
some
or
ideas.
you just want to go like?
No, we'll just put your hands up and we'll call on you.
Okay.
So Chris, who we got on Zoom?
So we have James Kasha. So I've just asked what are the most taking most of your time, and which ones are the most high value ones. And for James, the one to take the most time is for him was bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping.
That was one thing
It's probably on everyone's list.
Yeah, so he's since outsourced that. I think he's pretty happy with his time at the moment. So for him, he also mentioned that the things that he can't spend time on is customer support. That's something you have to outsource, and I think that was it, the task he does. We have Cam Morden who came in and said, keeping up to date with new products, upgrades, maintenance, editing for videos and stuff.
Just yell at me so we can.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So Cam Morden, so keeping Shopify updated with new products, upgrades, maintenance, and then editing videos. Very time consuming for him. Obviously, this is something you can get someone else to do. But for him, the high value task is product development and putting effort into his marketing.
Beautiful. All right, around the room, who wants to go first and just give us a bit of an idea of your... So let's do this. Give me if there's anything that appears in a couple of places that seems to be a pretty consistent thing for you. Anyone want to give me one of those? Fantastic. Beulah.
Say that again.
Yes, Katrina, you spoke up first, so congratulations. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. So what have you got, Katrina? Give us some. What's something? I know you've got one. What's something that shows up in a few of these areas for you?
Probably showing up, and I probably mean that in terms of social media. Hello.
So no, I'm just going to turn this on. I'm assuming that this is linked to the Zoom as well. So tell me, Katrina. Carry on. That was awkward.
Probably consistency and showing up on digital
In your socials?
and socials. Probably something I do enjoy when I allow myself the time and the space. I do find I do way too much of it on the fly.
Yeah.
But I'm yeah. And the business definitely does need that. And I do think, as we were just saying a second ago with you, I mean, yeah, it is valuable.
It's valuable,
a lot of it, some of it other people can do, but a lot of it I can't. So yeah.
So like, that's a really important point, what you just said about you enjoy doing it if you've got the time. Hands up if you've got a few of those things on your list where I'd like to be doing this stuff. It's really valuable if I had the time to do it. Show of hands, a couple of people. Yeah, okay, good. Good, that's good. So keep those things in mind. Anyone else got something that sort of shows up quite regularly across one or two or three or four of the areas?
Probably, talk up. Good talk.
Yep.
Probably to like share my expertise, like something that I find myself not doing enough of because of all the other mundane stuff. So it's something that the business needs, a valuable task as well. So in creating content around it as well, I like to be able to share that to a broad audience.
Yeah.
So probably something that's common in all four guys.
Yeah, cool. I mean, that's probably a pretty commonality across most of your businesses too. Anyone got something different? Anyone love doing numbers or love doing something else? Marnie, what do you love doing?
Yeah, bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping? Okay, fantastic.
Really?
Especially trying to figure out something. Yeah.
Right, cool. I mean, that's, if you enjoy that, you're good at it, and the business definitely needs it.
Good at it.
So that's the one that was missing. Pete, shoot.
I really enjoy learning the different parts of what needs to happen in terms of the e-commerce journey. Because I guess at the start, kind of like running around with a chicken with its head cut off, just trying to do all the things but not knowing how to do them. So then getting to the next steps of actually learning how to do it is very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that though? You just don't want to get a term that I call infobesity, where all you do is consume content and consume knowledge and don't implement it. So for me, it's very important that I'm not good at this thing right now, and I need to do this thing well for 6 months before I can hand it off. So consume as much as you can around that thing, and maybe one other thing, right? So you go, I need to do, I mean, you're going to get someone else to do your Google ads and your Meta ads or whatever, right? But you're like, there's an area here, and I'm just going to learn that thing really, really well for the purpose that then you can delegate it to someone else, and then you understand it. But if you just constantly because I do this too, but I'm pretty good at going, I want to learn, I want to become a master at this thing, and I'll consume, thousands of hours of content on this thing, and I go, I've figured it out now. Before I go and watch 400 different videos, and you just walk away and you're like, shit, 400 new things that I could be doing every day. I'll go do those things, do you know what I mean? Versus fix the one thing and then do the next thing. So before I met Andy, I was probably an hour a day trying to get better and better at finances. So then when I met Andy, I'm like, I know how to talk to Andy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still not at his level, but I'm like, profit and loss statement and blah, 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 and now I'm learned it, understand it, we can communicate it. He doesn't think I'm a dumbass. And what's the next thing? You know what I mean? So that's really important, I think, as well, right? So especially for e-com, because you just wake up in the morning and you just drinking from a fire hose. Everyone's telling you something different, blah, 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 blah.
I think that's why it's been great to be in the calls that are all separated into different things.
Yep.
To get one point of reference that's not just a million YouTube videos to say, all right, follow this.
Yep.
Instead of trying to find it. Because then it's easier to get over that hump of saying, all right, I know just enough about this to understand it, and I am happy to pass it to somebody who knows.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it, because we relentlessly test, a model inside the circle, So this is how you do SEO, and it's been tested for 20 years by me. It's been tested on everyone's sites. It's been tested across everyone's sites in the agency. I go, this way works, so do this way mostly. Do you know what I mean? You can do your own creative bits, but if you go, that's it, that's the system and that's the model, and then get someone to run the model for you, and then when it starts breaking, you go, you've changed the model, right? So I think that's really important. It's even when we'll coach all of you guys, Lockie teaches you how to do Meta ads his way, so-and-so does this and so-and-so does that. It's cool, there are other ways, but you're no, we're just run the course with this. And then if it really doesn't work, you go, okay, what do we need to change? So, but just, I think that's really important. Because I was like that when I was younger. Shiny object, shiny object, shiny object. You know what I mean? You go, shit, not much has happened in the last year. Because
you're getting stuck up here in the enjoyment part, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're having a great time, but the business is fucked.
Yeah.
Does
that resonate with you guys? Does anyone do a lot of that? Chasing the shiny things, because it's fun and blah, 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 but it's not really needed. So,
Guilty?
Yes, guilty.
Cool. All right, so keeping the same things in mind, we're now going to just look at this from a bit of a different perspective. So now we're going to do a task audit of your business. So this can be quite collaborative because you all run a similar type of business. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we can kind of borrow from each other. So similar idea, we are going to get clear on what you do. So this exercise is you're going to examine your daily tasks to identify how you allocate your time, right? You want to get down all of the things that you must do every day to keep the business running. So some of you started a bit of this on this sheet. You've now got, wherever the book is, you've got kind of 4 of these pages, these task audit pages, to start filling out the area of the business. So you might put finance and go, I do the bookkeeping and I do the BAS and I pay the thing and I do the payee and I do the da-da-da-da-da. And in marketing, I do this, and in social, I do this. So all of the things that you can think about in all the various aspects of your business, get all of those down into these sections. So that's the first part. This is going to help you identify inefficiencies in your business, and we'll help you do that. Find the inefficient use of your time on tasks that aren't essential to business success or could be done by others. So that's the balance, right? There's either things that need to get done that someone else could do, or stuff that you're doing that's irrelevant to the business. It's not needed. It's inefficient. And then in the next session, when we get into team building, now that you've got this giant list of all the tasks in your business, we're going to start to work out which things you need to be hiring people to do for you. So that's how this will link into the next session. So task audit part 1. On this sheet here, you want to start to capture all of the tasks that you're doing currently in your business under all of the main areas of your business. Write them all down. And then write down anything that you're currently doing, write down anything any current team members are doing. And then also, if there's things that you know that should be getting done that aren't getting done, put those in as well. So this should be as complete as you can do in the next sort of 5-10 minutes, all the stuff that you need to get done in your business. Once you've got that list, just so we can kind of get into this exercise, once you've got that listed out, you'll see that there's 2 little columns here. One's got a little energy symbol and one's got a dollar symbol. As you start to get these tasks down, do the task first and then come back. In the energy column, you want to put a positive or a negative, a plus or a minus. If that task energizes you in that you do it and you enjoy it and it gives you energy, put a plus. If when you do that thing, it drains you, put a negative. This is going to be one way that will help us decide the things that are going to be a better use of your time. So positive, if you get something from doing that, could be you feel good, even if you don't maybe enjoy it, but you feel you've done something, you've contributed to the business because it's something that needs to get done. That could be a positive. If it feels like it's draining your energy, put a negative. In the dollar column, you're going to put a $1 symbol, a $2 symbol, a $3 symbol, or a $4 symbol. A $1 sign means this is a low value task. On an hourly rate, it's like a $1 to $9 task. This is admin.
Adding products to your website.
Packing orders, adding products to your website, fixing stuff on the website, making the coffee, right? All the really low level stuff that you're doing, but if you had to put an hourly rate against it, it's a pretty low level task. 2 for an average value, $10 to $99. So it's an okay level of thing, but it's still a pretty low value task.
Customer service, things like this.
Yep.
Picking and packing orders, logistics.
Answering all your social media, commenting on everyone's posts, all that kind of stuff. 3, high value. So this is getting into things where this is probably where you start to come in. These are the 3s and the 4s are things that you should probably be doing more of. So 3s is sort of $100 to $499, $500 task. That's a pretty good level of task. And then your 4 is your highest value task. Strategy, systems, product creation, vision, team building, hiring, all of that kind of stuff is going to sit under that kind of category. Financial management, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Cool, and go. We'll put
if you want a way of breaking down the areas as well, right? So you do how you generate the customer, how you convert the customer, sales, and then you've got finance. Retention is like customer service, and then you've got fulfillment. So those 6 things, right? So if you want to break, you go, all right, these are all the finance things I do, this is all the fulfillment things I do, this is the marketing stuff to attract the customers, this is how I convert them. So try and break them out like that as well. Does that make sense?
You said those 6 things again?
Let's write them up. Now you're going to have to put up with my handwriting. All right.
Goodness.
What do we got?
Yeah, so it's how you generate the customer in the first place.
So
like, it's like
acquisition.
Yeah, that's right. Acquisition.
So marketing, basically.
Yeah. Well, no, I like to break it out in 2 different ways, right? So how you acquire them, but then how you nurture them before they buy from you as well.
Okay.
So this is another one. No,
It's underneath,
dot.
or it's another one. Nurture.
Yeah. How do you nurture them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sales. How you actually get the sale. Then you've got fulfillment. So that's, picking and packing the orders, warehousing, blah, blah, blah. Then you've got retention. So when you've got the customer, how do you retain them forever? And then the last one's finance. Everybody clear on what those different things are?
So kind of talking like marketing, this is like email, maybe? You kind of nurture?
They're similar. They're like, it's
They're kind of
attraction,
both.
acquisition and nurture. It's probably the wrong word. It's like you're generating the first kind of
You just
getting
don't
out in
like
front of them.
acquisition?
Right.
Okay, like your social content?
Yeah.
Attraction?
Or like leads.
Yeah, that's fine.
Creating leads. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like lead generation. This
Yeah,
is an
lead
agency model, right? But it's the same thing. You generate you get in front of them, and then you nurture them, right? And then you get a sale, and then you do the fulfillment, and then you retain them, and then you make sure you're making money with finances. Do you want to add anything to that?
So just for this last session, so we'll just do a bit of a wrap up on your task audits. We'll have a bit of a, I almost said the completely wrong thing. You got my head going the wrong way, Chris Haynes. We'll have a bit of a brainstorm on those and just kind of go around the room a bit, just in case you've got something that somebody else didn't think about, just so we'll sort of cross-pollinate some ideas on all the stuff that's in your business. So the idea with this really is that you kind of look at that list and go a bit like, holy shit, here's all this stuff I need to do in my business. What do I do with it? And that's what the rest of today and then going into tomorrow will help you make sense of all of that stuff and then get that into a nice clear plan so you can take action and get it all done. So we'll start there and have a bit of a talk through that just so we've got nice full lists. And then we're going to move into some team building. So the first part of that's going to be how do we start to replace you in some of those parts of the business where it's just not valuable for you to be doing those things? And how do we build those teams? What type of people do we want to put in the different seats in a business? And kind of what should an e-com business look like from kind of an org chart perspective? So that's kind of what we'll wrap on today. So you'll have giant list of tasks and you have at least a bit of an idea about, okay, here's the things I'm going to start to move off my plate and these are the types of people I need to start to look for. And then drinking and frivolity, all that kind of stuff. So as I said, we're going to do a bit of a go around the room, talk through the task list that you've got, so you can start to get an idea of how full your plates are, all the stuff that you've got to do in your business, and kind of cross-pollinate. You might have something really good that someone goes, oh yeah, I'll do that as well, but I didn't get it down. So do I have a volunteer or should I just start pointing people out? I'm going to start on one of these ends or do I start in the middle?
Go in the middle, spin around, and then just pick someone.
Jonathan looks like he really doesn't
pinata.
want to go, so you can go first. What are some of the things that you got?
Oh god, my list is endless, to be honest. The low value repetitive tasks that I seem to have to do on a daily basis is customer service, and that's pre-purchase, post-purchase, order fulfillment, and that's online order fulfillment for my US orders and potentially actual physical fulfillment, go into my lockup and fulfill in the orders for Australia. Social media posting.
Yeah.
I should be doing every day, but I don't. Far from it. And other than that, it's Amazon things really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like account auditing, maintaining listings. It's a whole other thing with selling in multiple markets with different languages.
Yeah.
It's surprised what Amazon does to your listings and how they translate.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's maintaining
Yeah.
that as well.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Jonathan has a lot of his stuff running on Amazon. So if anyone has Amazon questions, Jonathan's the go-to guy.
He'll be doing a session tomorrow. Maybe.
Yeah, so that's a whole other thing. But yeah, so what are your like energy and dollar ratings around those things? Like what are some of the things that give you energy? What's the stuff that you feel good about doing? From that sort of list, yeah.
So basically customer service that depends on
The customer.
If it's some nice feedback, that gives me a whole lot of energy. But generally, energy-wise, it's pretty neutral, but it's more time sucking, to be honest, more than the energy. The order fulfillment, same goes to that. I don't mind doing it. Certainly doesn't give me joy or.
It's got to get done, but it's not
Just got to get done.
fulfilling.
And again, it's the time consuming part of it.
Yeah.
Social media would be energy sucking for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the business which I really
You don't enjoy, don't like doing.
don't use it in my personal life.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
So yeah, I tend to not do it eventually. And the Amazon thing, again, yeah, that's probably more the energy sucking side.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Does any of that sound familiar to anyone? Does that those sorts of tasks? Yeah. Cool. Landon, Narelle, what do you guys got? I'm just going to put we're going around in a circle, so you can start to prepare yourselves now.
And then by the time it gets around there, we'll just unmute that one.
Okay. Yeah. Does it help if I stand in front of people with my mic? Does that? No.
Talk louder, Chris.
I
Apparently.
got a mic.
I can talk loud. Some things that low value tasks that we can definitely get someone else to do, things like paying invoices, adding products to the website, fixing just the general like maintenance on the website, adding in apps and like adjusting screens and stuff like that, replying emails, fulfilling orders, organising warranty replacements, and some of these we already are getting help with, but there's some on that list that can be get help with. Content creation, social media engagement, like replying to Facebook messages and YouTube comments and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then there's some high ticket value items that don't light me up, especially I suppose, like managing finances, like in and out, negotiating better margins with suppliers. I don't enjoy that, so that's something that I can one day outsource.
Okay.
There's some things that do light me up, like talking to customers on the phone about their projects, making content like around like teaching people things. But yeah, there's a few other things in the middle of like email content and stuff like that as well that we can outsource. So the things that don't light us up as much.
Yeah. Cool. How about you, Narelle?
We worked on this together.
So you didn't do it.
When we say we, mostly you.
The royal we. Okay. Got you.
Yeah, we really did work on this together, but it was more focused on like what Landon does all day, every day, because I just kind of interject wherever I'm needed. And so it's actually really interesting to see like where I am actually needed and how those things don't light him up, but they light me up.
Yeah. That's a really good one for the couples here that kind of work together, work a bit more.
All of those minuses you can
Solve everyone's business problem.
Narelle is suddenly very busy.
You can find some.
I'll do these things.
Okay, Haynes's. What do you guys got?
We've kind of split our list across the pages, but it's a lot of the same kind of stuff as the others, but add in the physical store to that as well, which obviously adds a lot of stuff in terms of staff management, stock management, all that kind of stuff that goes with that. It's a really, really small list of stuff that actually energizes, but it is the important stuff.
That's good.
Much to Paul's disgust, bookkeeping does energize me.
Really?
I love it.
No.
I just love it. I know, it's just weird. So there is definitely...
You and Marnie can hang out like, hey, you going?
We could have a session on it.
That's another
but the things that really matter to me, and I think we're kind of on this path already, and I'm looking forward to this next session because we've kind of had a lot of conversations about the things that we should and shouldn't be doing amongst Sarah and I, but then that next path to get there is the important part for us. But for me, things like systems and logistics management, supplier negotiation, that's something I really get energized by.
Okay.
I'm quite good at. Which I think is music to Andy's ears because we need to do some. Business planning and all the training calls and that kind of thing. That's the stuff I get really energized being amongst people and growing the business.
I get really energised with the customer interaction side. For me, it's matching the right product to the right little person, which I love. And then product sourcing, like we sell toys. It's pretty cool.
Sorry.
We have a lot of fun.
So for context, what's the kind of business role split kind of look like between the two of you?
I do not do bookkeeping.
Sarah's zero accounts being cancelled. So Sarah runs the store day to day, and I do a lot of the sort of, back end systems-y type stuff and admin and all that kind of thing. Things like product ordering and a lot of that is fairly shared.
Okay.
It's really kind of a bit of a whoever can get to it kind of thing. But from a day-to-day, Sarah's in the store and, customer service and that kind of thing, it's just whoever gets to the email or the message first. It's like, if Sarah's in front of it or she's stuck in a store with a million people, then, my real job I don't do much of, so, it's being recorded.
So repeat that.
I'll jump on and do, customer service replies or something. But when it comes to, we know what we're good at, I guess, and we know what we enjoy. I'm relatively good at dealing with customer complaints, and steering people down a fairly positive path from that. That's not something Sarah enjoys. It's not she's not good at it, she just really doesn't enjoy it. Things like that. So.
Yeah, cool.
I have a question. In your dynamic, is one of you more of the visionary?
Yes.
In the picture?
Yes.
It's you, it's Chris. Okay. And so there's usually a visionary and there's an integrator. Are you wearing both? Integrator is like running ops. Is that also more you? Because you said you both share the role of ordering. However,
the load of it or the logistics of it probably sits on me more than Sarah from an operational perspective.
okay.
I guess in a way I'm kind of wearing both of those hats.
Yeah. And do you enjoy it?
I love it, except I've got 700 other hats I'm wearing on
Yeah.
the other side of the fence. So yes, I do enjoy it and I do love it, but the balance of all of that, then balancing in family, is the thing that's hard to get right.
Good, got it.
Yeah.
That'll lead into the. Yeah, we're going to go with this.
Yeah.
Good.
So then that dynamic's really interesting too, because I know we were talking on the drive up here. Renee, for those of you that either have partners that are working in the business or partners that are at least sort of involved in the business part-time, I mean, having spoken to several of you, one of the main ideas is that the e-com business becomes a thing that supports all of you, and the 9-to-5 job gets replaced by income from the business, more time for the kids, more lifestyle. So that, I think that's an interesting common thread amongst a lot of you. Just to kind of put that out there, that a lot of you are kind of in that same boat of, like, that's kind of where we're going, right? Would that be fair to say? That would be a real good outcome for you, that you get to work in this business together and the 9 to 5 kind of gets replaced?
Well, a better outcome would be you outsource your job as well. You know what I mean? Someone else is doing it for you and they don't know. So
Yeah.
Keep that way.
keep it going. Get a couple of VAs doing your job for you as well. So
Pretty much that's where AI comes in.
yeah.
That's what's doing my job.
It's another session. Okay.
Sneaky session.
Yeah, but I think that's important to consider, because a lot of you are in that same sort of situation. So I think that's good to have an idea. Again, we were talking on the way up, myself and Renee, what does that look like? Like, what does that business need to look like to make that happen? That's a real important part to go. Okay, we know financially, numbers-wise, time-wise, like, what does that actually look like? Is that a 200 grand a month business? Is that a $4 million a month business? Like, with our margins, our particular business, what does that need to look like? So it gives you kind of an endpoint and something realistic to go, okay, I know what the model needs to be, and then we can build towards that. So that's a big part of how we want to think about your businesses as well. What's that end goal look like? And practically, okay, I can see it on the spreadsheet. I know what we need to earn in the business to make that happen. So that's quite a bit of an aside from where we're going, but I think that's kind of important to kind of know where we're going.
Sorry, can I just make a comment on that? And I know this is jumping ahead to tomorrow's session.
Yeah, that's good.
It actually, like, I had a financial fence kind of meeting with Andy yesterday, and it actually gives me a lot of comfort knowing that there is a level we can get to.
Yeah.
You know, like, not just sort of, hey, we're just continually fighting this whole business kind of world, but you know, there is a level we can get to, and these are the things that we need to change to make that happen.
Yeah.
So it actually kind of takes the stress off.
Yeah.
Understanding that.
Yeah. That's perfect comment, because that's ultimately having that confidence and that comfort to know that there's a thing there that we can work towards. And we'll go into some of that tomorrow. That's a longer conversation, but we'll touch on some of that in Andy's financial session tomorrow. Okay, so moving around the room, Renee, what's some of your stuff that you got?
Well, it's the fulfillment, the mundane order packing, taking parcels, tracking orders that get lost, inventory management, customer service aspect, which I do enjoy getting, obviously, good feedback, to know that we are making a positive difference for the products and things that we're selling. And if we're not doing a good job, then I want to know that as well. We need to make sure that we are keeping a high standard. Other things that take a lot of my time is the social media. So I don't mind doing a lot of the taking videos and doing stuff with Gus and photos and that sort of thing, but it's the time to do it properly, not just throw something up at 5 o'clock because I run out of time all day.
Yeah.
Or pre-planning, the bookkeeping. I don't want any part of that. I'll take it for you.
We found our finance team. Chris is like, can I help?
You guys, I do it cheaper.
I'll do it cheaper.
I need to actually pick your brains about what it is that you love.
I love it. I wish all day I love it. And
Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
Psychopaths. His business was like, come on, because I'm like, oh, yes. I'll call you. We'll set up a Zoom or something. I see him sitting there, and I'm like, can I just
So for Mother's Day, you can get her the upgraded version of Xero. So, there you go. She'll be like, oh, wow.
But things I do enjoy are like the business planning and the strategy and like content, the market, you know, what's coming up for the holidays and what can we get and sort of. So I do enjoy that aspect of the business, and I really do enjoy because, you know, they work with children, but I get to work with dogs, so that's very fulfilling for me. So there is a lot of positive aspects. It's just when I'm doing the majority of it, it's just overwhelming.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yeah, because you're a one-woman band as well, essentially. Yeah.
And it is trying to get clarity of, okay, let's farm all of these things out, and then I can really focus on being a visionary and saying, okay, well, this is our goal, and how do we need to achieve this goal?
Yeah.
Because I do have some pretty big goals, like I'm sure everyone else here does as well. So
Yeah.
I really want to try to get clarity on how we can reach that and what sort of a time frame.
Maybe Gus needs to pull his weight a little bit more.
He does.
There's a distinct absence of Gus at the conference, right?
Exactly. Like, when he's laying on his bed, up on his back and doing nothing, I'm like, okay, let's put some products on, let's go out there and earn your keep.
Gus is the dog, by the way, for anyone that's online. That's one. Just in case.
He is the reason behind the business. So that is, as most people do have that vision, like, or the reason that they started, he was our inspiration, and we've built this whole business basically around the love of our dog.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Next event, we're going to everyone can bring their dogs. I won't
Leave
bring
the
all,
kids at home, just bring the dogs.
I'll bring all 3 of my dogs.
We don't have kids or dogs here, so
You got time to get
You
some.
can buy one. I've got spares.
We've got a spare key, you borrow.
Yeah.
Us too, and we've only got one.
no, we've been there and done that.
Okay, Katrina, what do you got going on?
So, I mean, a similar kind of stories, obviously, in imaging, but I feel like a lot of the stuff is, if I just kind of mention a different angle, is if you get your head in the right space for it, it can give you energy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that make sense? So, like, everyone's got all of these things to do, and we've all pretty much got obviously very similar kind of things, but it's like they're all little tasks which are part of a bigger kind of ongoing project, I guess, like whether it be emails or social media or, you know, heaping, dare I say it, or whatever, Google ads or, you know, but if you, and I mean recently for me, so I'm, you know, predominantly online and have had a couple of retailers and have been kind of contemplating, do I go down that path or not? And last week I went down, I had a couple of days on the road, on the beach, just popping into different retailers, and I had a little sample kit.
Yeah, cool.
And, you know, that gave me energy, but I think if I think of doing that tomorrow, I think, but I think if you get your head around it, and I guess I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
I don't know if if anyone else can relate to that. Where it's like if you get your head in order to do something, it can actually give you a lot of energy. But if you just think about what to do that, it can be almost a bit draining.
Yeah.
And I find I've got a few of my projects kind of come under that. Because I probably don't allocate enough time in one day. I kind of grab at things here and there, and then it becomes a bit annoying.
Yeah. I mean, part of that's probably also doing the thing and seeing the result. And going, maybe didn't enjoy it as much, but I sucked it up and did it, and I made 10 sales. Shit. If I do that tomorrow and I do it tomorrow, I'll make 10 sales and 10 sales and 15.
So, yeah, the more you do of something, the more you do.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's kind of how that works. So,
yeah, nice.
I feel like there's so much that you could, you know, there's so much that you could outsource, right? So it's just about, where you want to, what you obviously do like doing, and I suppose where you want to allocate the funds to do that.
Yeah.
You've raised a good one, Katrina, with wholesale and B2B. Having some kind of B2B business development person or salesperson can actually be something that you choose to do rather than doing that work yourself. If you want to get into a lot of retail outlets.
Yeah, which I don't know if I do.
Yeah, I'm not saying you do.
No, but it's really interesting because I did actually really enjoy the conversations I had. But I did find myself lurking behind their products until their customers were not in the shop anymore, because I didn't want to be that, you know, that cringy kind of salesperson. You know, I don't know. I was just, so I had a bit of a head block about that, but it was good.
You didn't have the free steak knives out the back?
No, and I did knock over someone's cup of tea.
Ooh.
Yeah, I should have had a quench cup. I mean, seriously.
You mean a live product demonstration? Perfect. If that had been a quench cup, Your lap wouldn't be wet right now.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd bring in that other angle.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the other stuff, I quite enjoy writing a blog, but I find I put it off because you know you've got to kind of sit down, get your head, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a sit down, get your head in order kind of thing. But when I actually do it, I actually really enjoy it. You know, yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a correlation there. A lot of people have said, if I had the time to, I would do this thing, right? So that's kind of
Creating the time.
Yeah, creating the time, getting in the space. That's kind of a whole thing, yeah. So
there's a decision that we all make around that.
Yeah,
generally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent point. Yeah,
And people will find any excuse under the sun not to do not to do those things, right? Even when you go, oh, I should be doing this now, but something come up, I won't do it. You know, and it's always those things, the most uncomfortable things, are the things that you probably should really be doing.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Stepping into it.
Yeah, so what Paul does for me, he tells me to time block those things in my calendar and just be strict about it, you know, so that if it's a time block, I have to do that thing during that period.
Yeah.
I can't get distracted.
Yeah, but you got Paul, we've only got ourselves to be so I'm a bit easy on myself.
I'm sure Simon would be happy to be a taskmaster for you. I'm sure you got some skill set there, Simon.
I'm happy to tell you what to do if I'm allowed, Simon. So.
All right, moving on. Pete, what you got?
All right. I guess some of the things that I do like doing is getting into that kind of creative space of kind of figuring out automations and business processes, but it's kind of worked into like a double-edged sword, because my biggest time suck, and what actually really sucks for me, is just managing product information. So now because of managing those automations, now I'm the person who kind of only knows how, like I wrote the codes.
Right, you've made yourself the bottleneck for that thing?
Yeah. And I know how to use the API, and now I have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
Because it needs to get done.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. You do the thing until you make yourself the bottleneck, and then it's how do you unbottleneck that thing? I think that's very common. So
I think some people make themselves the bottleneck though out of some kind of weird job security thing though, right? They'll go, I made it so complicated so they can't fire me, or no one else can do it, or I feel important. And if you know, only you know that, you know what I mean? You're like, well, you know.
I want somebody else to do it so bad, and it took me so long to just sell the idea that we need to manage our product information, photos, PDFs, everything, so it's not in different places. But like to try to tell everyone, oh yeah, this is important for, you know, like 200,000 SKUs is.
Yeah. So we do. We use this software called Tango, or we use Loom, depending on how we do it. And we just record ourselves doing it while we're doing it, and talking as we're doing it. And then we hand that off to the person we're trying to train, and then we get them to follow it, you know, step by step. That's what we call an SOP, or standard operating procedure. And then they'll like find the holes in the SOP, because they'll try to follow your instructions and they won't be able to do it. And they'll you fill in the gaps until the SOPs, you know, totally clear. And
I feel like, that kind of product fulfillment can be done by anybody else, really anybody else. It would probably even be better to be done by somebody else, because I am not the master of all the products that we even sell. So even things like customer service, I'm managing the chat and it comes to me, and I'm looking up things on Google while I'm talking to the person answering questions. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing them because I'm the person who's doing them right now, and we haven't found a solution or haven't been allocated the budget to have someone else do it.
Yeah, that's pretty common as well. So talk about there's the ideal thing. I'd love to be doing all this stuff, but there's a season where you've kind of got to do all the other stuff as well. So that's another aspect. If
you can film yourself while you're doing it and talk through why you're doing things and what you're doing, at least then you can hand it off to
Tuesday.
Yeah, true. Cool. Yeah, good points. Billy Joe,
There's not much tasks that I'm doing.
you're just getting going.
I'm still working full time, so yeah, not much tasks I've done. I've unloaded a lot of the products and that's been about it so far.
Yeah. Did you bring an ice bath down?
I have.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Ice baths first thing tomorrow morning, everybody.
I'm busy, sorry. Lucky with that.
There you go. I'm off to bring you bathers.
Yeah, I'm good to go. All right, Tasha, we'll move through the last couple. Tasha, what you got?
So I know the stuff that really sort of excites me is the bigger picture stuff. And it's definitely one of my failings is I'm not a detail-oriented person, and so if I have to go into the details of something, it all falls apart and it doesn't happen. So definitely focusing on those bigger picture tasks, particularly things like marketing, because I really love marketing, but I'm not good at the execution of marketing. So I don't want to be doing my social media posts, I don't want to be doing my email marketing, I don't want to be doing all those bits of it. And even most of the content creation, with excluding some very specific bits, I do love making like TikToks and Reels and stuff where I get to sort of tell the story directly to the customer. I find that to be really exciting because it's a bit of a challenge and it's new all the time. And the stuff that's the admin and any admin task really, any admin task, answering emails, anybody. I decided to discover that Slack is a lot easier than emails because you don't have that same format of an email to answer. Slack is just a message. And so really sort of recognising these areas, even like I love the art side of things, the art was in every single box, but I actually am not very good with the product. Like I'm good at thinking of the products, designing how it looks, but not actually execution of ordering the products. So that's the step that I recommend somebody else be doing, which is like the technical step of ordering a product, laying it out in Illustrator instead of making JPEGs like I still do. Trying to find the right Chinese supplier who's happy to take my JPEGs.
Yeah, right.
That's not a joke. Everyone's laughing like
Yeah, well.
other people use their vectors and so those are the sort of tasks where it's the actual detail-oriented tasks that I need to be getting other people to do who are good at details.
Yeah, like a final artist, a final art designer who'll take it, make it into vector.
Take the vision part of it and the art product and make it an actual product, like nicely drawn out Illustrator, can't go wrong sort of product.
Yeah. I mean that's well.
Lots of people who do that job. I know that there are.
Yeah, they exist.
People who do that,
Yeah.
So that's the big thing is these admin roles. Anything that involves any sort of admin, but anything that's bigger picture, even the financial stuff, I'm really quite passionate about. I'm really interested in learning how the business works, all of the details, understanding how to grow it, make better profit margins. Like that's like your bookkeeping. I find it very exciting. I think it's like a lot of fun. But then if I have to go in and edit stuff in Shopify,
Actually do it.
I'll get stuck.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah, makes total sense. So all of this will be really interesting in this next session when we kind of get into profiling and types of people for types of roles, which is kind of where this conversation's heading. Last but not least.
Mine's very similar to a lot of people's as well.
Yeah.
For me, my positives are finance. It's actually the first thing that I do every morning is reconcile my Xero and make sure everything's up to date. So it gives me my first part.
Some people have coffee. You reconcile your bank statement.
Some people are normal.
It's very satisfying doing the Xero reconciliation. I would agree with that.
Yes.
Landon, you better not show your Xero there. You better know when Marnie says your Xero. She gets excited about reconcile Xero.
So once you've reconciled your Xero, what else do you have going on?
So also for me, my enjoyment is actually picking and packing my campus and the products. I love putting my feel and touch onto it and knowing that I'm packing it the way that I want it to be sent out to the customer in receiving it.
Okay. Cool.
And also, coming from an inventory background is also sourcing and ordering my product and Google on top of it, except for when you have a really big month and the stock gets stuck in China on a ship trying to get here, we have issues. But they're my positives. My negatives are I absolutely hate the whole social media side of it. Facebook, the Google ads, the Meta ads, Lockie. It actually will drain and drag me down for the whole day that I can't function. I just cannot foresee past it. So that's where I need to get our help.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So I think that was really interesting because you kind of had similar stuff, but you've definitely all got your really own flavour of what you do great in your particular business. I thought that was really interesting.